Hello, hello. Welcome back to another segment of Chats with Cath. And this week we are going to be discussing and unpacking the importance of sisterhood. This is a very important topic to me and near and dear to my heart because I really genuinely feel that sisterhood is very important and it is the foundation of ensuring that us ladies support each other, love each other, and uplift each other. Okay, so diving into this entire topic, why is sisterhood and female friendships so important? Well, as a society, women are pitted against each other from the dawn of millennia, since I can remember. And it makes me very sad because it's only now, well, not now, but it's only recently in the past 100 years where women are genuinely actually actively trying to support each other and help each other through trials and tribulations and ensuring that they are able to assist in doing the Lord's work or empowering an economy or going far, but never in support of another sister. And let me not generalize. I'm saying this as just as an observation because it is kind of like a societal norm that women are always competing against each other, and competition could be healthy. However, the way competition is amongst women most of the time is very unhealthy. It's always shown or presented in a very vindictive and unhealthy way. And to me, I just don't understand why us ladies are so mean to each other. I get it. We go through the most of the most. If it is not us being vulnerable, if it is not us being taken advantage of, if it is not us, people underestimating us, if it's not the color of our skin, it's so many factors, so many social economic factors, so many social factors and all those things. I mean, but honestly, guys, ladies, if you're listening to this or any ladies listening to this, we really need to be doing better and trying to nurture relationships of, making sure that we are being supportive of each other. And those are the relationships that last the longest, the ones that you have with like your fellow female friends and sisters, because they understand, they come from a place of knowing how things have been in the past and in the future and in the present. Here I am sounding like a Christmas carol, but you know what I mean. It really is very sad to see that a lot of women would rather throw other women under the bus just to make themselves look great than support other women who are equally in the same position as them. And it's not the case nowadays, but I do think we can do better to ensure that we continue this growth in making sure that we are supporting each other, not making it harder for us to remain a minority, because we are such a minority, because we are disrespected, sexualized, all these other disgusting things that happen to all us ladies on a daily basis. And I'm tired of just being complicit and just like nodding, saying, you know what, it is what it is. No, we have to change the bar. We have to break this glass ceiling so that we encourage relationships amongst ourselves and do better in ensuring that we are making sure that we are being better people and better women. We need to protect us. We need to support us. And, from there, we can make sure that we demand the respect we deserve. We can make sure that there's no question as to how we should be treated. There's no ifs, buts, ands about it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that is just so critical. And I would like to hear your thoughts on this, because I find it very bizarre that such a minority, or not a minority, but such wonderful people out there and empowering women are not helping each other as much as we should be, or they help each other enough just so that they can remain on top. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? I'd like to know, like, what you're thinking. Like, yeah, do let me know, you know. But going into that, like, let's explore other aspects of sisterhood and why it's important, you know. And that's definitely something I want to unpack properly in this episode. Here I am going into a whole rant and rave about ancient times and how women have been in the past, and like how they are evolving and how they are now. But I do think it's quite important to like look back and reflect, because from there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from that and unpack. As a society where where there's so many demands demanded of us, you know, we're expected to be mothers, we're expected to be wives, we're expected to be career women, we're expected to be super women, we're expected to be multiple things at once, which is probably why it is quite natural for women to be able to multitask quite efficiently. And it's fascinating to me. However, I do think it's more like a survival mechanism, but don't come for me. But I do think it's a bit of a survival mechanism, because we have been placed in a situation where we are constantly having to always do fight or flight, you know. We're always coming into a place where we are being forced to run for our lives and try to do better, and being capable of, okay, I can still do my job, but then I can still like cook dinner and like make sure everybody is fed. I can still like, you know, go and save the world, but I must make sure that I can still like look after young children and nurture and love them and all these things. It's a lot. It is a lot. And for me, it's just so crazy sometimes when I think about like all the amazing things that women are able to do, and all the things that they have accomplished through time. But then it's so sad to me that sometimes some of those things are minimized because it's expected. I get it. Yes, we are supposed to be like the nurturing kind. We are supposed to be like you know, the people that like, you know, make things happen in terms of like reproduction, because, you know, we're the vessel. I said it. We're the vessel where alien beings grow inside, and then we pop them out and like populate this earth. And I'm not trying to get people to come for me, but the fact of the matter is that it is just very strange that it's such an expectation that like that's all you can be. And I understand from a Charles Darwin perspective, like evolutionary perspective, that like that's how we are structured and programmed to be, but it's not all that we're capable of doing. Hence going back into that whole thing of like flight to flight. Hence going back into that whole thing of being able to multitask and being able to do multiple things at once, because we're constantly proving to the world and to the patriarchy that we are capable of so much more. Excuse me. Hence why I just find it so bizarre that women have so many things said against them, and I'm not going to go into too much detail with other aspects of like womanhood and all these things. What I do want to focus on is just like the whole sisterhood and why it is important. So going into that, I do understand that we have had the roughest journey to get as far as we have come, which has opened up more doors for other, like, you know, other minorities who need recognition and who need respect and who are fighting for like that respect and like protection, because it was never given. It's not normal to the patriarchy, the way the world has evolved and like how women have evolved and other minority groups as well. But why I'm saying this is because sisterhood is so important and so critical, because it forms a foundation where it almost molds you and shapes you into a woman that you want to become. And when I see healthy female relationships, it is amazing, because then from there, the lessons, the learnings, and all those things are taken and passed on to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And the same goes for unhealthy female relationships, because as a society, as humans, we evolve, but we're also impressionable. Remember that. And what we get from nurture, nature, our environment and surroundings, we take it in and we put it back out there. And sometimes it could be good and sometimes it could be bad. But why this is so critical is because sisterhood, and why it is important is because as a group that has been oppressed and suppressed for so long, I just want us to be cognizant of how far we have come and how much further we can go when we support each other and band together and support each other, because then from there we grow and we become even more like amazing and even more phenomenal, which we already are. But I really believe that we can go even further and make bigger strides when we help and support each other, and when we are nurturing our female relationships with either your mothers, either your aunties, female guardians, teachers, friends, especially. These are all important relationships that I embrace and make it essential for us to really appreciate sisterhood. However, it is an ongoing journey, like any relationship that you have. The way you treat your relationship with, if you're married, with your husband, your wife, or who you're in a life journey with, the way you treat those relationships is equally important with how you treat the relationships with your female friends or family members, or anybody that's important to you that is a female, and it is just as important. And it is sad to me when I see when relationships disintegrate, and when women become catty and mean, and when women just really try put themselves forward for validation for the patriarchy. And it's like, what did you accomplish? You made this guy happy, but then you've destroyed and made a whole host of other women furious and enraged. But then it continues the toxic cycle, people. It continues the toxic cycle, because that doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing this to each other? We need to be supporting and helping each other. And I keep saying that, but I have to drive this point, because if nobody hears it, I don't think people will take it into account. We really need to do better in nurturing and supporting female relationships. So I touched on or glazed on mean girl energy and toxic behavior. And it's quite a tricky one, because we see it happening, but raise your hand and say that you've actively tried to stop any form of bullying on a consistent basis, or any sort of abuse towards another woman on a consistent basis all the time. Raise your hand. If you are that person, good on you, because you are the world's best feminist. But in reality, and I can admit to this, there have been times when I would have rather seen another sister fall than allow myself to fall, kind of thing. And it is horrifying to me, and horrifying to admit as well. But then in the same breath, I'm also that person who has learned from that instances, because, you know, karma is a very wicked spiritual divine intervention, because it will come for you, and it will come tenfold. It will come tenfold. And learning these hard life lessons of not being proactive and stopping bullying and stopping female harassment and all these things, it has made me more cognizant and made me even more alert in trying to ensure that I keep driving that message to myself, not only to everyone. I do it to myself first, and then I also try and do better and like inspire others to follow suit like me, to stop this mean girl energy and toxic bad behavior. Because there are many ways to do this, you guys. There are many ways, and I think I've spoken about this before, like where I go into fill your own cup first and then you can give others. But with that being said as well, like with this mean girl energy, don't feed the fire with fuel. Don't keep feeding this fueled fire. Like, let it die out, let it die as quickly as possible. It is going to take a long time for that to happen. Heck, it might not happen at all. However, there are better ways to manage situations where this kind of energy is coming up, or where people are behaving in like this destructive behavior that is horrid. It is completely horrid. I say it now. It's completely horrid. And I know I'm exposing myself here, but it is true that I have been a mean girl before, but then it ended up so badly for me, because then I got hurt so hard as well. And I think this is a proverb. I need to find it and I will reference it. But there's something about like when you exert negative and bad energy, right? It's like you're stinging one person, but you sting them like only a little bit, but then you're stinging yourself. Not only are you trying to hurt them, you're hurting yourself in the process, and that doesn't accomplish anything. And which is why I'm saying it's so bizarre that like us women are in constant competition for the wrong reasons majority of the time. And don't lie, don't say no, we're not, we are always like don't lie. We're in constant competition for the wrong reasons when we could be in competition for good things, like finding better ways to manage disease, climate control, you know, doing actual things that can make the biggest impact and focus our energies on there. But no, we're busy focused on bullying Brenda because it's fun, and then we can giggle, laugh, and gossip about it. And then when you get home, you feel terrible because the way you treated Brenda is exactly how you're feeling yourself, an insignificant, senseless nothing, and you've gained nothing from that treatment. Sorry guys, I am low-key shading I'm low-key shading the women who, like, a recent example is what happened to Selena Gomez. Like, what happened there? Excuse me. What kind of mean girl behavior is that? How do you do that? As public figures and celebrities, you go out there and you're like, today I am going to name and shame a hun, and I'm going to sleep just fine at night. How do you do that? Look what has happened now. Because now we are in the age where women are now being taken into account and taken dragged through the streets for bad behavior. And you know what? Yes, we must be dragging people in the streets for bad behavior because it is completely unacceptable. And to think that it is acceptable, ma'am, no. And you can't use excuses like, this is how I was raised. This is how it was in my household. I was treated so badly, so I want to continue the cycle because I'm entitled to treating people badly because this is what happens. No. We should not be doing this and exhibiting mean girl behavior because it doesn't make any goddamn sense. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting the other people around you, and you accomplish nothing. You gain nothing, and you just put yourself in a whole void of nothingness, and you will be left with nothing. And the last thing you want is to be left with nothing, especially when you thrive on sisterhoods. You thrive on sisterhoods, friendships, all these things from a young age. It starts with who raised you, like the female figures who raised you, and it goes on to the friends you make, and it goes on and on and on until the day you die. And if you let those relationships disintegrate, when you're on your deathbed and you look back and you're like, I stepped, cut, destroyed women around me just so that I could get far, so that you can continue with the patriarchy, because that's the societal norm. Honey, you are going to die crying by yourself, and it's going to be horrible. It's going to be so horrible. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to put accents there, but it is going to be completely horrible for you. So this mean girl destructive energy, it doesn't make sense. Like, think about it. Like, the next time you think of gossiping, shading someone, and all these things, think about what it's doing to you, what it's going to do to you, how it reflects on you, and then how much it will hurt you in the process whilst you're doing this to another person. If you genuinely believe that shading people and being horrible to other people just to make yourself feel better is going to be the be all end all for you, honey, like I said, you will die alone. You will die alone. And that's on period. No ifs, buts, ands about it. So what about like finding new friends and cultivating new friendships and nurturing the existing friendships that you have? I mean, you need to find your people. And I think I did mention this before as well. Finding your people who support you, love you, no matter what, and accept the type of person you are. And you as well. Find you being the person that people find, and being the person who you are truly and genuinely. And you can be that person with these groups of people, women, all these things. It's so important, because compatibility is essential in making friendships last longer and making them stay together for a very long time. Like, there are friendships that transcend decades, and then there are friendships that go through seasons, and then there are friendships that are just like one time wham bam boomerang kind of vibes. But you know, compatibility is important, because then from there you can like determine for yourself, like, okay, these are my people, and these are the people I can go to for XYZ. These are the people I can go to for this specific thing. These are the people I can go to for other things. And it makes life enjoyable. It makes life beautiful when you have those people around you that understand you, truly understand you for who you are, and do not judge you, do not mock you, do not belittle or degrade you for the type of person that you are. And it is so beautiful when that happens, which is why I stress that sisterhood and, you know, nurturing those types of relationships are so important, because it really drives like us women surviving. It drives survival. It drives us being happy. It drives us, you know, making great strides and changes that actually do happen when we do these things. So finding your people and those you're compatible with, it's a scary thing, but when you find those people and you open yourself up to have those people come to you and come into your life and like be a constant factor in your life, it is amazing. Like, your life will change. It will do leaps, bounds, and strides. It will just go above and beyond and further and above, where it will just be incredible. The level of support that you will have, the level of love that you will have. Like, you could be going through the most of the most. You could be going through deaths. You could be going through world disasters. You can be going through political disasters. But you have these people around you. You have this sisterhood. You have these friendships. Oh, anything can happen, and anything good can come from anything like that. And I genuinely believe that. And then I also want to stress about compassion and why making sure that we cultivate time for these sisterhoods and these friendships, and ensuring that people are, being true to themselves, and, being kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, because then you would be able to spread that kindness to others. And that's not an easy thing to do, but it definitely helps in like ensuring that we cultivate and nurture and retain these sisterhoods, these friendships, because compassion is free. So is kindness. Kindness and compassion are one and the same, and they are 100% free. And when you spread that everywhere, it is intoxicating. It is like feverish, like it will spread everywhere. And I really think that we should be spreading this kind of energy more, and nurturing these sisterhoods more, and supporting each other more, because we will go far, and we will have each other, we will have those we talk to, and also all these other struggles that we might face. It will definitely assist in ensuring that, when you have your people, like, you can really overcome anything. And a personal example of this is that I suffer from anxiety and depression, which I go to therapy for, and it is so important that I have my people around me, my go-to girls that I can depend on and talk to and really lean on for support and understanding, because like they can relate to what I am going through, and they can relate to how I am feeling. And sometimes it's hard because I'm a bit of an A-type personality, and I'll go into that in another podcast. But in a summary, what that means is that I'm a bit of a control freak. I'm very much a control freak, and I'm so eager to please. I'm a people pleaser, and I'm always striving for perfection. And there's a whole story as to how I became that way, but that is the type of person I am. And sometimes I tend to be like the person who wants to be the support, and the person who wants to give the advice, and the person that people lean on heavily. And I have a bad habit of forgetting that I too need love, support, and happiness, and deserve love, support, and happiness. And it gets tricky when I need the love and support, and I want to ask for it, but then I don't want to ask for it because I don't want to bother people. But then I need that love and support. But I'm so grateful that I do have my people and my go-to people who are there for me, who are able to like embrace me in a hug, be loving and understanding. And that kind of sisterhood is priceless to me, because then I don't feel like I am alone. I don't feel like I can endure this struggle and journey by myself, because I found the people that I'm in sync with and who in turn are in sync with me and understand on the get-go when something is wrong, understand on the get-go when I need something. And I too try my best to make sure that I'm there for my other fellow sisters and girls, because then they need me, I want to be there for them. If they want my support, I'm there to support. If they need compassion, I'm there to give it. All these things. So you guys, sisterhood and the value of nurturing it is so essential. And this mean girl energy needs to end. It really does, but it might or might not happen. But I do appreciate that society is now making sure that we hold people into account, especially those who want to be malicious and cruel. We're starting to hold them to account for their bad behaviors, because it does not accomplish anything. It encompasses nothing. It doesn't align with the values that we want in this world. And I need to find who said this quote, but be the change you want to see in the world. And that rings true to what we have been discussing. Well, I've been discussing, and hopefully we can discuss in the comment section today. But yeah, compassion and the currency of time is important in nurturing sisterhood and the sisterhood relationships. And that's what I think about it. And that's all I have to say about that, you guys. And with that, please do not forget that you can catch me on my email, chatswithcath@gmail.com, where you can write to me, send me an essay, talk about all these things. And you can also catch me on my socials at chatswithcath on Instagram, the same handle on Facebook. I'm on Facebook now, imagine. And I recently started a TikTok, so you will see these things on TikTok as well. It's going to be super fun. And I really think that we can continue these conversations on these platforms. And most important of all, well, one of the most important, you can catch me on YouTube. This podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music, and on YouTube. And you can definitely hit me up in the DMs there, and I respond, and I'm happy to have these discussions further. And with that being said, I thank you for coming to my chat and sitting down with me just to have this conversation. And I do know that all the conversations that I have been starting will definitely need part twos, because there's a lot to unpack with all of them. I don't think we'll ever be done discussing some of these topics, but I do think that there are people out there who are making strides in ensuring that we continue these conversations and drive this message. Sisterhood is important. You're important. And thank you so much. With that being said, you guys, go with God, and see you soon in the next episode. Ciao!